So on last week's show we talked about the flip top tool stand, and I hope that video helped some of you out in the demonstration of it and inspired some of you to make your own. It really is a handy thing. Today we're going to be talking about clamps, so let's head into the shop and have a look. Okay, some of you may have noticed this wall in some of the other videos. It's where I keep the majority of my clamps, and there's everything from bar clamps to quick grips there. I'm just going to go through some of the types and show you some of the pros and cons of some of them that I've noticed over the years. Here we've got some basic spring clamps. These are great little clamps if you just need a quick hand to hang on to something, to hold it there quickly while you're working, marking, what have you. But you might want to be careful with any kind of clamp you're using. They can shift your work on you when you least expect it. The other issue with the metal style spring clamp is if you remove the protective rubber, you'll notice on the inside, I'll see if I can get in close for you, this edge here will actually dent softer material. So you may want to get yourself some scrap stock between your clamp and your finished piece just to protect it from being dented. When it comes to spring clamps, I actually prefer the ones with the rubbery style feet on the end of it. They just provide a little more protection, and these ones actually have some pretty good spring to them. There is another style, this is made by Irwin, same people that give us the quick grip, and I really don't get enough tension out of these. They don't really seem to want to grip very well, but in a pinch to hold some smaller items, they work well. And the price is certainly right. And of course we can't forget the ever popular, and it's been around forever and a day, the seat clamp. I don't really have much of a use for these in my shop, but what I do use them for is for holding jigs and fixtures in place. Things such as a fence or whatnot on either, or a stop block on the router table. If you want something to be held there and not move, this is your clamp. Of course, there's the ever popular quick grip. I have quite a few of these in my shop. I don't have them because they're fantastic. I have them because I got a good price on them. If you're fortunate enough to have some of these, this is first generation quick grip, and they're far superior to what you get now. I'm just going to show you a couple of the differences between the two. I'm going to be comparing the 12-inch of the first generation versus the newer ones you get today. The one I have here is the newer generation. I mean, it's an okay clamp and it will do an alright job, but this is the first generation. You could just see the first thing that strikes you right off the bat is just the size. The sheer girth of the handle, and the construction is far higher quality. Even the bar, there's a huge difference in the bar. The amount of surface pressure you get from the pads, due to the fact that the first generation was a lot larger and these are much smaller. The other thing I wanted to show you about the first generation quick grips versus the newer models is if you look on this first generation that I have here, when you clamp it together, you'll see that you have seamless pads here. There is no gap, there is no airspace. They give even pressure across the whole pad against your whole piece of work. That's something that's important to get good glue adhesion to the wood. Let's look at the new one. With the newer styles, you can already see the gap in them. And as you squeeze it together, we still have quite a bit of a gap here. And what this can cause is it can cause your work to shift in the clamp. So you just want to be aware of that when you're using these clamps. Next up we have the ever popular bar clamp. These things are fantastic. Super strong. You're not going to break one of these things. They're great for end-to-end laminations. They're great. I use them when I'm doing end grain cutting boards. They give pressure where pressure is needed, and they give a lot of it. The one thing is the steel brackets. They will dent your work. So make sure you've got something there to protect the piece that you're clamping. Some guys use leather, some guys a block of wood. In a future video, I'll probably show you how to make some removable clamp pads for that. But the bar clamp, can't go wrong with that one. Now this is a cheapy version of a bar clamp. It's kind of a imitation quick grip / bar clamp, and they're cheap. They're cheap. I use it mostly for holding things when I don't have enough hands. I find the problem when I use these is that the bar flexes, and when the bar flexes, I lose pressure. As you squeeze to get your pressure on your piece, the bar will flex, and when you release the handle, the bar will unflex, and you lose that pressure that you require. Something you want to check when you're purchasing a clamp. Does the bar flex? Strap clamps. What can I say? It's a strap that's a clamp. They're awesome. Irregular shaped items, that sort of thing. You know what? I love these things. I have a couple of them that I use in the shop from time to time, and they've never done me wrong. Fairly inexpensive too. I think they're maybe $5 to $10 a shot. I think I got this one from one of the big box stores. I won't mention which one, but it's this color. And you've got the ever popular and traditional hand screw clamp. I love these things. These things are great. For years I never used them because I thought they really didn't have a place in my shop. And at the time, with the type of working that I was doing and the projects that I was pumping out, they didn't have a place. But as I evolved more in my woodworking and I started adding more ideas and I started evolving, these things became priceless. If you don't have some, these are a great addition to your clamp collection, and you might want to look into it because they're valuable. Okay, here's one you may not have thought of, and I use it from time to time in my shop for irregular shaped items where you need pressure all over, but it's just so difficult to get clamps on. And for that, surgical tubing. This stuff is great. It stretches. You can get a good wrap on your piece and just tuck it under to lock it down. It won't put hundreds of pounds of pressure, but it sure will hold an irregular shaped item together until your glue can set up. Surgical tubing. It's an addition to a shop that can really help you. Okay, one of my favorites, my frame clamp. It's made by Veritas out of Lee Valley. This is a fantastic frame clamp. I love it. Any of you guys that have seen me on Wood Barter or on Woodworking Talk, you'll know what I'm talking about with this clamp because I use it all the time for all my frames. It's easily adjustable. It does a fantastic job. It puts equal pressure all the way around on your miter corners for your frames. And the key to it is these little brass nuts that are double drilled so that you can slide them in and then tighten them down. They're fantastic. For how valuable this is in the shop, it's not that expensive. Check your local store and you'll find this there. This is a great clamp. I love this one. And there you have it. Several different clamps, just a quick little rundown of the clamps that I use. This isn't all of them by any means. There are hundreds of different styles of clamps and hundreds of different manufacturers. Only you can decide what's right for you. Can you ever have enough clamps? No way. You can't. If your girlfriend's telling you you've got too many clamps, I think you need a new girlfriend. And you can get it over her by buying some more clamps. Thanks for watching.